Hey, everybody, it's Greg again. It's another edition of Unbreakable, the podcast. It is Monday, February the 2nd, Groundhog Day. First of all, I'm really glad that we're through January. January is like the worst. It's long and dark and I am so glad we don't have to deal with January again until next year. So, we're in February. It's Groundhog Day. I bring you bad news today. The groundhog, that little rat, he saw a shadow. The main guy, Punxsutawney Phil, saw a shadow. So 6 more weeks of winter, which if you really work it out, means spring is going to arrive when spring should. March the 21st. It's a. But I don't mind. It's a fun thing, Groundhog's Day, right? We're not supposed to take it seriously. You would be surprised how many weather people, since I've been alive, and I'm like 118 years old, that take it so seriously. They get so defensive, these weather people. In terms of, oh, the groundhog doesn't know anything. I have a meteorological degree, and I went to school, blah, 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 and the groundhog doesn't need anything, blah, blah. We know that, duh. We know that, okay? Relax. Relax. Ah. Anyway, so we got 6 more weeks of weather to go, which is, it's okay. It's supposed to be. You know what? If we had spring, February 2nd, if it was like all of a sudden 75 degrees outside, it would be weird. We'd be complaining. You're like, it's too warm out here. No, like even the birds are like structurally, it's too warm. So it is what it is. It's supposed to be this way. And it'll make us appreciate springtime when it arrives. And it'll be here soon. It'll be here soon. All right, all right. So we got a lot to do today. A lot to talk about because I haven't been on for about a week or so. So a lot happened since that time. And but before we do, I've been lax because every episode, and we're coming up to 600 shows here. Yeah, pretty soon. I usually start off with a picture of my little dog Bird, who actually, if you go back and you watch some of those early episodes, which are in I was going to say garage, it's not garage, the vault or whatever on Zoom. If you go back and watch those early episodes, and Bud's right there on the floor there with me during the shows. And was across the Rainbow Bridge last April 11th, was it? April 11th. And so, but we haven't forgotten. And what we do is we shoot pictures of bad and accident. So let's start that tradition. Yeah. There he is. There's Bud. That's the Budster. You remember him. There's his eagle scarf, and he's relaxing, like he usually did. Wasn't he beautiful? Yes. And then I got one more of the Budster, which I know you'll like. You do remember this one. We had a scarf. Actually, this was for Valentine's Day. A scarf with parts on it. And instead of using a scarf, we did it like a little babushka. Very little babushka. Yeah. I work for food. I clean your house. Yeah. Yeah. So I look like a grandmother that came from the other side. But hey, I work for food. I work for food. All right, so that's good. God bless his heart. All right, so the one thing that Groundhog Day comes up, uh, naturally, you watch the movie Groundhog Day. And I usually just watch it once a year. I like it. It's a good movie, but I mean, why watch it other times? There's other stuff to do. So, but we watched it last night. And it is funny. It's still funny. It still holds up. The movie came out in 1993. Now, let me show you this. Here's my copy. Got the DVD version. Not too much crap on my desk here. Jesus, I gotta do a little cleaning. There it is. There it is. See that? Groundhog Day starring Bill Murray, Andy McDowell, whatever happened to her. I think she's still around. And a sort of characters. Well, anyway, uh, it was a good movie. It came out in '93. It was one of those sleeper movies. You know, it didn't do well. It actually made money. They made the movie for like $30 million, and it made 105 million. Now it doesn't seem like much nowadays. You get like Zootopia is making billions and billions of dollars, but Groundhog Day made money, and it turned out to be a classic because people watched it via DVD, and it it was like almost like a cult film, you know? And it became one of these annual traditions that you do around Groundhog Day. That's we've started doing it, and so every Groundhog Day you watch the movie, and in that way, it always has life. You know, uh, it's sort of like a Christmas movie in a way, where you watch, uh, a Christmas Carol, Christmas Story, whatever, every year. That's how Groundhog Day is. Um, it was very interesting because the guy who wrote Groundhog Day, he actually wrote the script like in 1990, but he didn't think much of it. He just thought, this is sort of a little throwaway script. He wanted to do other things. So it was sort of what he used to call an introductory script, and to get him in with the movie studios. And so he would say, oh, by the way, I also have this. I wrote this. The things he really wanted to pitch, you know. And his original script for Groundhog Day, it was sort of like a Twilight Zone thing, like a fantasy thing, whimsical, but not as funny. Not as funny. And then he hooked up with another guy from the studio, got a hold of the script, read the script, and said, well, you know what? I like it. Harold Ramis. You ever heard of Harold Ramis? He did all those funny movies like Ghostbusters, and he was in all those 80s movies that were really, really funny. He directed them. He wrote a lot of them. Harold Ramis. He got a hold of the script, and he said to this guy, I like it. I like your story, but it needs to be funnier. So they rewrote it, This script, the one we see now on TV or on DVD, whatever streaming, it's like 7 scripts removed from the original. They just kept rewriting it. I think it's pretty brilliant because everything kind of has to fit. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You wonder, they film it over and over again. How do they keep it straight? You know what the movie's about. It's about this guy who wakes up every day and he lives the same day over and over and over. The term Groundhog Day means that instead of a holiday, we think of it as, well, you have a Groundhog Day, you're living this like deja vu. You're doing the same thing over and over and over. So to make a long story short, they made the movie. Harold Ramis, Bill Murray started it. It was actually offered to Tom Hanks first. He turned it down. Michael Keaton was offered the role of Phil Connors, the weatherman. He turned it down, but later on, he said it was the biggest mistake he ever made. He regretted it. Turning down Groundhog Day. But anyway. And so it's considered a classic. When people list the greatest movies of all time, Groundhog Day always makes the list. So who would ever thought this little throwaway movie in the 90s, in the early 90s, would be such a popular movie? And it's amazing that it was not filmed in Punxsutawney. because Punxsutawney, the locations of some of the scenes weren't there. And if you ever been to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, have you ever been to Punxsutawney? It's like out in the boondocks. It's like 80 miles away from Pittsburgh, which is the largest city that's even close by. Well, the movie crews, they need hotel rooms for the crew to stay in. They have all kinds of equipment and stuff. They need a lot more room than what Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania had to offer. So they actually filmed most of the movie in a little town in Ohio. And when they were looking for other little towns to film the movie, they went all through the Midwest. They actually scouted about 60 towns before they decided on one town to do most of the filming. Wouldn't that be cool though to have a movie like that filmed in your town and then to watch it over again, and say, I know that place like anyway, so Groundhog Day. One more. Since it is still technically Groundhog Day, you can still watch this today. I give you special dispensations. There, watch it. Watch it. And Bill Murray, I like him because I think he's really funny, but he can be a jerk. And they say he's real tough to work with because get this, I got to tell you this before I leave up time. Bill Murray and Harold Ramis were his films. They were two of the Ghostbusters. And the Stripes, remember that movie? They did a lot of stuff together back in the 80s. Well, they had a creative difference over Groundhog Day. Harold Ramis wanted it to be a funny comedy, lightweight kind of a thing, romantic rom-com, something you take your date to, and that's sort of a fun movie. Bill Murray wanted the Groundhog Day to be more spiritual, more like what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of this movie? Why is this guy in this time loop over and over again? Now, they fought every single day. It took them to like 3 months to make this movie. And every single day they fought over a line, a plot point, script, whatever. They just fought like cats and dogs. Well, you know what? It got so bad. After they completed Groundhog Day, they didn't talk to each other for another 21 years. Can you believe that? Isn't that stupid? They didn't talk to each other until 2014. And the only reason they talked to each other then was because Harold Ramis was dying. And so they got in touch with each other. Apparently they made peace, right? And that was it. But can you imagine having something stupid like that coming in between your friendship? I guess it wasn't a good friendship to begin with if you're going to let something stupid like that affect you 21 years. They didn't talk. Hello, get a grip. Anyway, so that's Groundhog. Yeah, what else has been happening? It says, oh, God, we lost a couple of good people since I saw this to that Catherine O'Hara. Oh, Jesus. Well, I like Catherine. She was pretty good looking too. She was hot. But she could do everything. Oh my God. She could play any kind. Like most people know her as Kevin's mom in Home Alone. Kevin. I never did that. Don't care for me. Don't care for me. But I always knew Catherine O'Hara way back when she started out in SCTV. Do you remember SCTV back in the late 70s or early 80s? Oh, what a funny, great show. After you're done listening to me and watching me, find it. Find it on Zoom, find it YouTube, wherever, find it. And SCTV, John Candy, great John Candy, Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas, Joe Flaherty, Eugene Levy, who's still uh, Andrea Martin, and Catherine O'Hara were the two female really leads there. But she was so great because she could play any role, you know. Nola Heatherton, which was this combination of Joey Heatherton and Nola Fulano. It's like a ditzy, fake, insincere. She would go on all the talk shows and not very talented. Nola Fulano, Joey Heatherton, and showed up on all the talk shows and in Las Vegas and didn't really do much. But was there, I don't know. So she did a combination of both. But she was just great. Catherine O'Hara was great. Very underrated actress and comedian. So we lost her. Well, I don't even know what she died from. She died the other day. And all we know is she was rushed to the hospital and she didn't make it. But I haven't heard. Have you heard? I haven't heard what she died from. But not the matters. Another person who lost, oh my God, from Lamont. Remember Sanford and Son? Red Fox, remember that? Played the old junk man, Fred Sanford. What a show. What a funny show. I loved it. Fred Sanford was on NBC. But the same people who made All the Family, they went over, crossed over to NBC and then Sanford and Son. And the guy who played the son, Desmond, was just like 79 years old. After he was acting, he became a preacher. He was a minister. And I always liked him in the show. He was a good straight man for Red Fox to play for them. They were good. And then all those other characters, Aunt Esther, oh God, what a funny. She used to go at it with Fred Sanford. Fred Sanford, you heathen. You know. Oh my God, that was so funny. Do yourself a favor. And if you haven't seen Sanford and Son ever, or you haven't watched it in a long time, find it somewhere. Maybe it's on one of these TV land or whatever. Find it and watch it. It was great. It was a great shoot. And of course, back in those days, back in the 70s, you can get away with a lot of stuff on TV, you know? Things weren't as, how should I say, things were a little bit more liberal, a little more freedom back then. You could say more things, get away with more things. And I tell you what, Fred Sanford, Red Fox, I never saw him off the TV show. He appeared in a lot of nightclubs and Vegas, things like that. But they said his comedy routine was very blue. What they mean by blue was very raunchy, a lot of bad. But funny, really funny. So anyway, rest in peace against Desmond Wilson, who was a great actor. Oh, he didn't do much though, you know? He didn't do much after Sanford and Son. You know, certain people get typecast with certain roles, you know? And you always think of him as that's Lamont. You see him on TV, he might be playing a dramatic show, a movie or something. You go, Lamont, that's Lamont. And you guys get, people get pigeonholed, you know? And they can't ever break out of it. So, whatever. All right, well, you know what? We got to talk about sports before I leave. Because, first of all, Eagles. Super Bowl's coming up this Sunday. Do we even care? We don't care. You know, I got not that excited about the Super Bowl. And it's worse because your team was in it last year. Your team actually won the world championship. This year, man, who cares? You know, my team isn't in the big games, and I don't really give a shit. I don't care. But by Sunday, what else is there to do? Yesterday was so weird because there was no football. We had football since September. Every Sunday there was football, right? And no football. They're trying to fill in. During the days on Sunday, they might have like NASCAR, golf or something people really care about. And at night it's basketball. Oh, Sunday night basketball. And pretty soon it'll be baseball. But it's not like football, it's just not the same. So yesterday was the first Sunday without football since September. And you called to withdraw. That's like you're trying to stop drinking drugs or something. You're like, oh, I'm shaking. Where's football? Oh, I gotta have football. Anyway, um, so this Sunday, and I'll be on later in the week. We'll talk about the Super Bowl. We'll break down the game, and I'll tell you who I think's going to win, either Seattle or New England. But like I said, I'm not really that excited about it because, nah, nah, nah. First of all, teams that aren't that exciting. I mean, New England, yeah, I mean, they haven't been in it for a while, but you hate to see them win because they're such cheaters, or at least they were cheaters in the past. When Belichick and Brady were there, and you hate to see them win again. I've got all these Super Bowls. Enough is enough, Seattle, yeah, they're a fresh face. Seattle, they deserve it. They deserve it. They don't win anything. The Mariners, they got close to getting to the World Series last year. They didn't get it. What else do they have? The Kraken. They don't even have a basketball team. So Seattle's okay. They never did anything to me. They could win. But it's like there are no like big stars. No Patrick Mahomes, no Josh Allen, no Jalen Hurts. It's sort of a there. Eddie, so Eagles are making news otherwise. I mean, it looks like they might be looking for a new defensive coordinator. Vic Fangio, the old guy, maybe return. Now, that's bad news if it happens because, he came on board a couple of years ago and he turned the Eagles defense around. He made them great again. And, so great, they won the Super Bowl last year. But a big part of it was their defense. So if he leaves, that's going to be a big problem for him. It's not only that, a lot of the coaching positions, coordinating positions, they've been filled already. And whenever you change a coordinator, and the Eagles know this very well, whenever you change a coordinator, it may take a year or two to sort of get used to each other. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he doesn't tell me, hey, you know what? The man has to do what he has to do. Maybe he has grandchildren he wants to spend time with. Maybe he wants to travel. Maybe he just doesn't. Maybe he's had it with the training camp and all the rhythm and roar that goes with being an assistant coach in the NFL. Right? So, let's see what he ends up doing. Football wise, I hope he stays at least in the news. But we'll see. Eagles got a new offensive coordinator. Let's hope he works out okay. There's this rumor like nobody wants to come to Philadelphia because they don't want to work with Nick Sirianni, the coach. So he's a tough one. Well, I don't know. Maybe he was. Well, I'll take the job. I'll take the job. I don't know anything about football other than being a fan, but I'll take the job. The paycheck. is probably good, right? And you're a coach for a big team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and you're a coach. You wouldn't want that, right? I'll take it. Heck, why not, right? And the Phillies, oh Jesus, the Phillies. Well, Dave Dombrowski, the GM, made the comment, "Oh, I'm content with our team. He hasn't done a rat's ass. He hasn't done anything. All he did was re-sign Kyle Schwarber, and he re-signed JT Morganto, and he overpaid for him. And he hasn't done anything. He let Harrison Bader walk. He let Ranger Suarez walk, which is the worst. He's on the Red Sox team. What has this GM done? I mean, he's 1 foot out the door. He wants to go to Nashville, where they may have an expansion team coming in, because this guy has a home down there, and he's hoping to hook on with the Nashville franchise and get a job there. All right, well, maybe that's your plan, but until they do something, he hasn't done it for a couple of years. He keeps saying, "Oh, we'll do something after the season." Nothing happens. They don't say, "We'll do something at the trade deadline in July." Nothing happens. It does nothing. Nothing. So, Phillies, they're okay. They're good. But the other teams around them are getting better. The Mets are better. Of course, the Dodgers are Dodgers. Cincinnati just signed a guy yesterday. So, you know, Phillies need some help. They need an outfielder, and they can always use pitching help. So let's see what they do before spring training. They run the same team back out again. I may cry because this team, they're chunkers. They can't do it. All right. Only 8 days, 9 days until spring training starts. So when you get down and depressed about the weather outside or the fact that it's still winter time, don't be, because if spring training is going to start next week, that's a great sign that baseball and warmer weather and flowers in springtime is right here. All right, what else? Sixers are on the West Coast now for like a 5-game swing this weekend. They're playing tonight against the Clippers. James Harden, remember him? James Harden. And I think of Joel Embiid. You got to give the man credit. And a lot of people thought he was almost innocent. It was nothing to do. But he's playing really well. He averaged 29 points in January. So did give him a shot or something. I don't know. But he's playing really well. Now, I expect him to have a big game too. Why? Because he's a little pissed off because he didn't make the All-Star team. For some reason, they left him off the All-Star team. He may make it anyway because apparently Giannis, the Greek freak, may not be able to play because he had these injuries. So they may give it to Joel anyway. But that's not the point. He wasn't voted in. He wasn't picked by the coaches. And he may say tonight, I'll show you. All-Star game, really? I'll put 50 on you. 50 to them, 50. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I can say. And the Flyers, what the hell's happening to them? I mean, I thought they were a franchise that turned the corner. They had a lot of young players. They knew guys who ran the team. I thought they were pointing in the right direction. All they're doing is losing there. And they're bickering with each other. And now there's calls for the talk at the coach. They call for his head. I mean, what the hell's happening there? Oh my God. Ed Snyder is probably rolling in his grave right now. Oh, the Lordy. What else do we have to talk about here before I leave? Well, you know what? Yeah, put my freaking glasses on. This is what happens when you get, other than when you get up, it's like, you make that noise. Did you ever hear that noise? Anyway, you gotta wear glasses because you can't see. What the hell is doing? Is that it? That's it. Whoa! I got through everything in a manageable time, too. All right, Dad. Looks like that's it. Well, I'll be back again. Later. And we'll talk Super Bowl. If anything happens on the local sports front, we'll talk about that too. And anything in the world. Right? Oh, by the way, did you watch the Grammys and everything? I don't see Grammys because I don't know half of these people. I told dude. I don't know Andrea Grandani from when they're all the same to me. Taylor Swift, Angela Blondie, uh, what's her name? Sure, I know, maybe probably their whatever. I like the games. Well, we had Madonna and we had Prince and Michael Jackson. 1984. I was around. God knows I was around. Can you believe 1984? You had Purple Rain Prince. You had Can't Slow Down, the album Black Witchy. You had Every Breath You Take, The Policeman, Michael Jackson, Stallone wasn't there, and Cindy Lauper, Girls Just Writing for you had all kinds of good music. Now, you turn it on, you don't know what the hell you're listening to, or who it is. I gotta say one thing before we move. And thank you for watching me. Thank you for listening to me today. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to the greatest singer I have ever heard in my life. And you probably may not even heard of her. Her name is Eva Cassidy. Not related to David Cassidy, no. Eva Cassidy was a up and coming, she was a local singer back in the local early 90s, the mid 90s. She played with her band down around Washington, D.C. Because she lived in Bowie. No one ever heard of her, but they knew of her down in Washington. Well, to make a long story short, tragically, she got cancer within a year of her diagnosis. She died. Bone cancer, lung cancer, spread to the lungs. Tragic. But I'm gonna have a show on her every day. Just that I have books about her now, tapes. She's just brilliant. Eva Cassidy, what happened after she died, people got a hold of some of her tapes. They taped her in local nightclubs around the Washington, D.C. area. They said, wow, who is this? Everybody who heard her was like, who is this? Why didn't I know her before? Turns out that she ended up selling over 10 million records in the UK and in Europe. Not many people know of her here in the States. In fact, they think maybe only 10% of the people here in our United States know or ever heard of Eva Cassidy. Really? Well, us fans, we're making it our project and we tell people about Eva Cassidy. Hopefully they tell other people and they tell other people, and it's sort of a grassroots movement. Do yourself a favor. If you want to hear comparable to Whitney Houston, I never thought I would hear another voice in my lifetime that would be like Whitney or Mariah Carey with that range, that purity of voice, the clarity, and the way she interprets every song is like Mariah. Tell your robot to play Over the Rainbow by Eva Cassidy. A great song from The Wizard of Oz. Judy Garland sang Over the Rainbow. Eva Cassidy, listen to her version. It's Tell Me If You Don't Love Her Even More, don't you? She was a great 33 years old. There's a documentary about her coming our way, and they're making a feature film, a movie And again, in the future, we'll see. But do yourself a favor and look them up. The late so I had to wish her happy heavenly birthday. She would have been 63 too. Yes, she's been gone for years. Time flies. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in another week. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk Super Bowl. And what else? Peace and love. See you.